Hello. Hello. Hold on, picture. Get these out of the way. Okay. How are you guys all doing? I am so excited to be here. You have been to a conference before when you come back and your Wi-Fi works and you don't have to put the password in again. How cool is that? But I want to make one recommendation. Could we put in new hand towel dispensers? I don't know if you guys have been in there, but it distributes this much hand towel. I had to wave my hand like a ninja like 5 times to get it to come out. So yeah, I was just in the bathroom. There you go. I am really excited to be here. I'm going to be talking about intimacy and trust. Wave your hand. That was nice. So, and I want to talk about how this and what this has to do with marketing and what it has to do with life in business when we build intimacy and trust. Our business as we built it can be whatever we want it to be. It is driven from our sheer joy of everything that we have. And I see so often people go to market themselves or their business, and it's not coming through. They're, as my friend Bryan Kramer says, they're afraid to push the button. Or, I don't swear. Yes, put up a dam. Right. Thank you. That was a magical moment. You were pushing the damn button. I love this audience. You can't make this up. And I realized that this was something that I had to dig into for myself. Now, before I get into that, and yes, we are going to do a hot seat where I'm going to pull someone up that is going through a struggle in life and business. So start thinking. But I also want to talk to you a little bit about trust before we get into that. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to have you quietly as possible, stand up, quietly as possible. Now take your phones and put them in the air. I just want to see if everybody has their phone out. Okay, good. All right, now bring it right in front of you, and I want you to unlock the phone. Okay? Now I want you to open your Twitter account. Remember, quietly. All right? And now I want you to pass your phone to the person sitting next to you. Go ahead. Go ahead. And now, hold on. Now I want you to go ahead and tweet whatever you want using the hashtag, and I don't mind if you tag me at Bryan Kramer. Tweet whatever you want. I see some people not tweeting over here. You guys tweeting? Oh, do I want your phone? Yeah, sure. Is it open to Twitter? What is the hashtag? SMWL19. Woo!
Really intense. It's very nervous.
I am.
Trust me, Ryan.
Okay. Good luck with that. All right, everyone sit down. So, I'm going to use the Girl Scout sign if I have to. Who said that last night? Hey, listen, here's the thing. What you just went through was the ultimate in breaking, was one of the ultimate things in breaking trust. You handed your phone to someone else unlocked. Now, thank God I told them to open up Twitter and not anything else. Because if they opened up your photos and they started swiping right, that would have been a whole different ball game. You know when somebody hands you their phone and you're like, I'll hold it for you. You don't need to swipe. I'll swipe for you. This stuff that goes on, we hold these things in our pocket, and it is the ultimate in trust. Think about that. And I would love to hear from maybe one or two people. What did that feel like for you? What was your initial reaction when I said, hand your phone to someone else? Yeah.
I was excited, actually, to see what the person would post. I think you get to know that person a little bit better.
Yeah.
How daring or
Yeah.
conservative they are.
And I noticed you were not listening to me right when she gave your phone back to you.
No.
You went immediately to Twitter and go, what did she do?
I'm posting what you're saying right now.
Bam. What else? Yes. You cringed. Yes, cringed. How many people cringed? Not that, a little. And give me another word, another expressive word for what you felt. Curious. Nice. So here's the thing, when we're going and we're putting things out onto the internet, or we're putting out our own selves, when we see ourselves both in our joy and coming alive or not, what we put out is who we are and who people think we are. We define ourselves by what we share. Now, we obviously just handed our phones to other people, and that helped us a little bit. I went through a little bit of a metamorphosis the last few years, and I was looking at how true joy affects your business. How, in alignment, if I'm in my truest of joy, can actually affect the outcome of anything that I do in life. And how much joy am I actually living in? So I had to take a look at that. And I looked at my life. I looked at going back in time, knowing and understanding that I was the son of a doctor, a physician. He was a gastroenterologist, guts and butts, as we say. So those were interesting dinner conversations. And my mom was a teacher, and I really grew up in a wonderful, loving family. And I never felt like I had belonged. I always was challenged and struggling in how to belong. I still thrived. I still became everything that I wanted to be. I was always pushing harder. I pushed so hard that I became an Eagle Scout. Thank you. Now, if you talk to my wife, she will tell you no way is he an Eagle Scout, because we won't talk about how I almost set a forest fire the night that we got engaged. That's not a joke. And I graduated with honors. I did all these wonderful things. And then we came together, my wife and I, and we started an agency and got married in the same year. We were together for now almost 20 years. We had a business for 17 years, and we worked in and had an advertising agency for those 17 years. We worked with some of the biggest brands, some of the most fun things that we produced for Netflix and MasterCard and Cisco and IBM. But something was still missing. I still wasn't finding my joy. And even though on the outside, what everyone saw was success, on the inside, my joy wasn't bringing me to what my full potential actually could be, what I knew I could actually do. But I didn't know it at the time. I just knew I was in search of something. I went through this leadership program and went through a process with some amazing people. And all of a sudden, one day, I realized what it was that was holding me back. I hadn't come clean with myself, and I hadn't come clean with everybody around me. See, in my childhood, I was actually the product of a molestation. And I had gone through what over the years had entered in as a time that I couldn't remember what had happened. It was only at 17 that actually I smelled a perfume off this lady that I was working next to, and all of a sudden it brought all the memories back. And I was sitting there telling people this, very close people, and I bawled. I let out every ounce of everything. And through that, I was coming clean with myself. And I was coming clean with the world of this thing that had happened to me. I also felt a lift. I felt this amazing joy. Oh my God, I was just absolutely besides myself for what just had happened. And I went back, and I went to my computer, and it's like everything was channeling through me. I just started typing and thinking about everything and what this meant and what everything I went through and how much I had achieved and how much more I could do and what was open to me and how much love I have and who I am, and not to be ashamed of what had happened. And I came up with these points, and I definitely recommend pulling out a pen and paper, because it's worth writing this down, because it was just channeling through me when this came to me on the things that were holding me back that I now was able to release. The first one was unlocking our blind spots. We all have blind spots. We don't know and can't see ourselves as well as others can. There are things that are always observations that are always there that others can make, they can point out that you can't yourself. What I'd suggest is asking someone around you, like family member, a friend, get a coach, someone who can help you to see what those blind spots are. Because when you can really identify them and conquer them, you'll go miles. The second one is looking at relationships as if they are not transactional, but relational. This is an incredible epiphany if you think about how you approach people. It's mind-boggling as to how much we actually look at people and say, how can they serve me? Versus how can I serve them? And it changes everything. It changed for me. My business has never been thriving more in my life after now leaving our agency on that day. 17 years later, we walked away from the business. It was the hardest thing I had to do, but it was the right thing because we were burned out. We knew we weren't interested anymore. We also knew that we weren't pushing as hard as we could, and it didn't fill us with joy. So we had, at the time, 30 people counting on us, and we did the hardest thing that we had to do, and we helped everybody to transition out as best we could. Walked away, and I felt this lightness and created a whole new life, a whole new transformation, looked at my life in a whole different way. I ironed out different relationships, built healthier relationships, worked out, ate differently, and now I'm 25 pounds less and the happiest that I've ever been. And I looked at people differently. And I felt differently about people. And I must be touching his heart. And that was an incredible moment for me to be able to actually see people and help people, creating intimacy. Into me you see. That is what it's all about. When you can actually connect with other people and give them a deeper look into who you are and do the same thing back. There's also some incredible moments when you look at how you want to let go. How you want to let go in the moment. So oftentimes we see what happened in our past and we see what we want for our future. And those two things you do not have control over. The only thing you have control over is right now. So let go. Letting go of thinking that I needed to have an agency to be successful. Letting go of anything that you think needs to happen and knowing that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. Right here in this room in Ohio. Welcome. Welcome to right now. And the last one is narrowing the noise. See, I couldn't get through this in the last 3 years if I didn't narrow the noise. There is noise everywhere. Anybody here, raise your hand if you have just one health tip for me? Everybody, I would imagine, has a health tip. And if I listened to all of you, I would not have done what I did because there's too much noise. Everyone has an opinion on something. I had to narrow that down and focus on just what works for me, taking the right pieces and looking at how I can put them in place. Narrowing the noise of social media. There's so much noise out there. I'm not saying social is bad, but it's also unhealthy at certain times. So I took social media off my phone unless I'm at a conference. And I narrowed my noise down to just the right people, the good people, the perfect people, the conversations, and I realized I had more intense conversations with people, and it mattered more. The joy you have is equal to the experience you have in life. The ultimate joy could change everything in what you have in your business and in your life. It's powerful when you really lock into that and really start to understand what it can do for you. Now, what does this have to do with marketing and business? And why am I telling you this story? Because I see so many people go out and they market. And they market the message they think others want to hear. And the problem, the symptom, starts all the way back at the very beginning at discovering who you are and what you stand for and what your purpose is. And then delivering that message. You heard Jessica this morning. The message is so important. But to discover that message is a journey unto itself. And I'm encouraging you to go out and find that purpose and to understand it. That's where the magic lives. Now, I asked everybody earlier if you would think about coming up on stage. It's going to take a brave soul to do this, I know. But I would love one person who is going through their own pre-transition, transformation. And raise your hand. I'd love to bring you up on well, at least have some questions for you. Oh. Wow. I love it. Well, thank you. Thank you. I had hands, but you came up and just jumped right up on stage.
Don't wait.
Tell everybody your name. Can we get her a microphone, or can I use this one?
We can use that.
There we go.
Thank you. I'm Sarah McDowell. So nice to see all of you. This is amazing.
Great. Come on out here
All right.
and tell everybody what you do.
So I do social media, marketing, communications, and speech writing. I do everything, really. Jack of all trades.
Great. Great. And what is one thing that you're really proud of?
My daughter.
What are you proud of about her?
She is the most amazing human being on this planet.
Wow.
She teaches me every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one thing that she's taught you?
Empathy.
Yeah.
Nice. Empathy.
Something we lack.
Yes. All of us can do better in that.
Great.
So I follow her lead as much as possible. Now, she's 33 years old, so
Yeah.
she's older, but she's just simply amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why, so you say empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a lack of? Is that something that you're lacking?
I never saw myself as a mother.
Okay.
And then I was a mother. And so, we kind of grew up together. I was a single mom. I was a teen mom.
Congrats.
At 18, I found myself, I snuck out of the house one time, and it's all it took.
One time.
One time. That was it. And it was, it's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's like that lady says, no, sometimes it's born 9 months later. But anyway, yes. So I snuck out of the house one time, and that was all it took. And so, and then my husband left me. I got married. My husband left me, and then I was a single mom. So.
And how has that impacted you?
Maybe a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Made me appreciate my family a lot more. And I had to, as I got older, really look at the things I don't want to say done wrong, but I could have done better. But as a teen mom, you just don't know. You learn along the way. I mean, that's life. You learn along the way.
Yeah.
And she turned out really phenomenal despite me.
Nice.
So, yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
Why despite you?
Again, I was always work-driven. I worked all the time. I was in government relations, so sessions sometimes would take 18 hours to get through a day or a filibuster. So I was always working. And as she got older, that impacted her, the lack of a dad. Her dad left, and that was the last time we ever saw him. So, it was really hard to juggle all of those different things. And as she got older, she kind of started struggling with some of that stuff. And so it was just a really hard balance. And empathy, we all have expectations of our children and of each other and people. And I learned that those were very misplaced expectations of her.
I'm kind of sensing into this space, and while you keep going back to her, there still feels to me like there's something missing from the relationship when he left, and you created some disconnect. There's a challenge there for you.
With she and I?
Yeah, and for you
No,
alone.
Well, not with she and I. I think that we're just constant. I mean, we are so close. I don't think there's two human beings that can be closer than she and I. But I have a lot of regret with, now, having said that, she's a hard worker. She has great work ethic. She's doing very well in her job, despite she didn't go to college. I was very disappointed. But despite that, she's very successful. So, but no, I mean, I'm disappointed for her and for her dad. I mean, her dad, too bad for him, but but she's phenomenal. So yeah.
So, but how about you? How are you doing?
I'm good. Left my job a year ago. Some of you guys know this. Left my job a year ago. My husband's like, you did what? And so I started this little company, and within a year I was overwhelmed. So I hired my twin sister. What could possibly go wrong there? And so, but, as you were talking, so I'm just going to right here. As you were talking, I was thinking about what you've overcome, and I'm thinking about the things that I hide from the people around me.
What do you hide?
The fact that I was a teen mom.
Okay.
The fact that, I got married young. I was such an idiot, but he was handsome, to be fair. He had nothing up here, though. And, but as I got older and my daughter got older, then she became a teen mom. And, but she's now got a wonderful family, and her husband is amazing. And so, it just...
So what's holding you back?
Fear.
Fear of what?
Sometimes I think success.
Of why?
I don't know.
What is success?
That's a good question. And I will say that for years, I thought success was money. So, the Porsche was great, the Corvette was great, but kind of like what you were saying, there was that I had no joy. There was no joy. And so when I finally walked away from that, now I'm kind of like Damian Ross. I'm a huge fan, because if I could, hear it up for that. If I could, I would literally walk away from everything, sell my house, get an RV, and go, because I'm a wanderlust person.
What's stopping you?
My husband. he by the way, Stephanie, I just posted this on my social media. I said she just explained my husband in one sentence that made sense, and he's a pilot. So, but we're very rooted in West Virginia. Anybody else from West Virginia here, please? One. no, maybe. So he's not going to go. So who knows? Maybe I'll just leave him behind and do my own thing.
Well, that's not what this is about.
See you back there. I'll see you in the holidays. No, I'm just
Don't
kidding.
come back from Lima going, oh my God.
And the funny thing, he's a pilot, so we could be doing this together, you know?
Right.
You fly, I'll follow in the camper. So.
It feels like you. What is your purpose? Do you know what your ultimate goal is? What your why is?
Yeah, my purpose is to really help people find their niche, to tell their story, to find their joy, to find their purpose.
Great.
I mean, yeah, that's to share their gift, to share what they do well.
Why do you like doing that?
It makes me happy to see people successful. I have a client who had a website for 9 years. She never had a sale on her website, ever. And so she called me 2 years after she met me and said, I need help. And now she's doing very, very well with her own business.
What
So-
makes you different than anyone else doing that?
I don't have a, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm very honest with people. I'm very
Yeah.
direct. I mean, maybe sometimes too much. But
I noticed that in your introduction last night.
Okay.
But that's good.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm very direct. So I mean, I'm, again, going back to the empathy, I
Yeah.
try to remember that. But if there's an issue, or if there's a problem, I'm not afraid to say or call it out and
Okay.
say, here's what you're missing, or here's the issue, but in a very professional, tactful
So
way.
you spot blind spots in others.
Yeah, but I
And you
miss
help
my
them.
own.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
Yeah, so if you see me and you know what mine is, please tell me.
Yeah. Well, part of what I'd love to know is how you stay joyful.
I think I'm still trying to figure that out.
What gives you joy every day?
I don't know. I mean, I'm being very honest here. This is almost scary that I'm doing this on the
Good.
stage in front of everybody.
I know, but it's just you and me here.
Yeah, of course.
They're not here.
They're not here. I cannot answer that question to this day in my life.
That's all right. Go ahead. I want you to make it up and completely lie to me and tell me what it is.
I'm not good at lying. Discovering new things, learning constantly.
Great.
Meeting new people, different cultures.
Yeah.
Going back to Lady Gaga, inclusiveness,
There it is.
making everyone feel like they matter and they're important.
Yeah.
That's really important to me.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice. What are you going to do with that?
I'm going to fire my therapist. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Just kidding. I don't have a therapist. I'm going to start inboxing Bryan. I love this conference because this is my first time here, but I've heard so many people talk about the intimacy of it and the learning aspect, and I've already learned a ton, and it's not even noon here yet. So I'm taking a lot of notes, and I'm going to take this and go back and be a lot more intentional, I think, about where I'm going, but also going back to what you were saying about relationships, and where do the relationships that I have fit in my life right now?
Right.
And are they outdated?
Yeah.
And do they need to change?
Yeah. You're 2 years from now looking back. You're so proud of yourself and you're excited. What did you accomplish?
Letting go of a lot of things that I need to let go of.
Like?
Fear of what people may think when they hear about my life story. I rarely tell my age because I'm worried people will, automatically say, oh, well, she's...
How old are you?
I'm going to say it loud and proud like Mia would tell me to. I am 51. And look, 35, right?
You had the best years ahead.
I think so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. I'm going to make that happen. Yeah.
So I want to ask you this last question. If you had if you had come up here knowing what you knew versus what you know now, what's the difference?
I feel more enlightened, I guess. I don't, that sounds kind of corny, but I feel like I have some tangibles to take back with me. And it's interesting that, you come to these conferences and you hear one person say what you think, and then you get them up on stage and here she is just her whole life.
So there's two pieces of, can I give you some feedback?
Absolutely.
There's two pieces of feedback I give you. One is narrowing the noise.
And that's mostly
I
here.
see you have a constant struggle with the noise of could have, should have, and instead of will and can, right?
Yeah, and I think it goes, there's days when I do struggle with that, and then there's days I'm very laser focused on the will and can, but I need to stop with the other one and focus will and can.
Good. So then, speaking about the will and the can, 2 years from now, looking back, what will you have accomplished?
I will have grown my business, let's say 5%. I don't know. I will grow my business. Let's say I will grow my business, which, by the way,
why just 5?
Because this is a great question.
Yeah.
When I left my job a year ago, it was because I wanted more time to do life. I have worked my whole life nonstop.
Okay.
I don't want to be working nonstop anymore. I want to be outside. I want to be in West Virginia in the mountains. I want to be traveling the United States. I want to be spending time with my parents. I'm helping my daughter move next month. I want to do things that are more intentional.
You are a beautiful woman.
Oh, well, thank you.
So now, one thing I'll tell you is there is so much that you can accomplish in less time. It's not about time. You can create as much money as you want, which is, I think, where you're heading with all of this.
Yeah, money's not that important to me anymore.
Okay.
It is not that important to me anymore. Maybe I'd like to hire more people to do the work that I'm doing so that I can go and do some of the things that I want to do. But if I have to let go of clients to do what I'm wanting to do with my life now, I have no problem doing that anymore. I can say no.
Great. So go do it.
All right. Let's go kayaking.
I want to thank you for coming up here and sharing this. I know it's not easy to share this with everybody, so thank you very much. And I really encourage you to take a look at moving past those fears and actually committing to doing a couple of those things that are for you, not for other people. Because I sense that you are looking at how your daughter and your husband and your clients all work around you instead of the focus being on you.
I would say that's pretty on topic right there.
So maybe there's a road trip in there somewhere.
Damien, Chris, Strub, yeah.
All right.
I'm all about it. Thank you,
Thank
Bryan.
you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
All right, cheers. How are we doing on time? How much time? 10. I have time to bring one more person up. You coming up? You're in it. Yep. All right. That didn't scare you. I don't see the whiteboard up here.
We're drawing?
We're gonna draw.
Sweet.
Yeah, with crayons. No, I'm kidding.
I do stick figures fantastically.
Well, you're not gonna draw,
Oh.
so you're safe.
How are your stick figures?
Tell everybody your name and what you do. Thank you.
I'm Dan Willis. You guys have probably seen me on Twitter, but I just love video. I love getting stories out there into the world and helping brands
Okay,
do
if I
the
go
same.
10 minutes. So tell everybody now, what is the one thing that you are very passionate about? And come on over here so everybody can see you.
Right now, it's failure, and I know that.
You're passionate about failure?
Yeah.
That's a new one.
Yeah. I had a real turning point where a lot of my clients and a lot of people in my personal social circles, I realized more and more they felt weighed down, they were bogged down by a lot of their failures, a lot of the hardships that they had experienced, and when they started to open up and share those, but not just their failures, how they overcame them and how that helped them grow,
Yeah.
that it was a really empowering message that actually just everybody started to agree with and relate to, and it started to build communities. And so that got me really excited to see, well, can we do this as brands? Can we do this as a business? To be open and transparent about failure instead of, well, I'm gonna hide this away and tuck it away and keep it secret.
Okay. What do you keep in secret?
For me, for a long time, it was carrying the death of my daughter around with me.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I'm blessed to have 8 kids, and number 9 on the way. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I'm 35. I just want to get there first. But
Yeah.
no, my daughter passed away at 3 months. Our third daughter passed away from SIDS.
Wow.
And everything was going great. Young family, had a great job. Everything seemed perfect.
Yeah.
And then something like that happens, and it really just rocks everything. Nothing that you thought was stable is stable.
Yeah.
And so it took me almost a decade of just wrestling and failing and trying things and failing and pretending like I knew what was going on to finally figure out, oh, the failing and the trials is the thing.
Yeah.
That is where I'm going. That is what I want to do.
So what's holding you back?
Now nothing. I
Oh,
can
have
say,
a seat.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but genuinely, I can say that. At the start of this year, when I started to realize I'm not alone in this, there's so many people out there that have the same thing,
Great.
and we're all going through it, that's the thing. And so podcast is out there now, engaging in communities on Twitter through videos, that same
so
thing.
in one sentence, what drives you?
Stories.
Okay.
I mean, that's one word, but having people share those stories of failure so that others around them can be empowered by it.
Okay. Tell me more about what you want to do with that.
So the podcast is a big one. I want to take people that are in a position of success, that everybody looks at them and goes, wow, they've done such amazing things. And instead of them showcasing their success, instead I want them to open up their hearts and show the failure, the heartache, the sorrow that they had to push through to get to where they are now.
Okay. And what is that going to do for other people?
My hope is that they will relate to it, and then they'll take that message and look back at themselves and go, I'm not broken. This is how it's supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. I hope it empowers them to not see failure as an obstacle, but as something that will propel them to do the thing that they can do.
Okay. All right. So at the heart of it, you want to heal people's pain? Is that right?
Yeah.
Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. And how is that different from anything else out there in an innovative way?
Pain is something that I think socially that we try to keep hidden. And so the idea of let's not keep it hidden, let's just bring it out there and be open about it. I don't see a lot of that out there.
Ah, okay. So more transparency.
Yes. And being genuine.
Okay. And how do you think that your story, healing people's pain, is going to help inspire?
I think when everybody realizes that failure is a motivator instead of a detractor, that you're going to see people blow through barricades that have been there for decades.
Great.
And those people are going to do amazing things that they didn't think possible, that nobody knew were possible. And when those things happen, it's just going to create kind of a snowball effect where they're going to share their story of overcoming their failures. And that's going to inspire another person to do it, and another, and
Great.
another.
Great. Last question I'll ask you is how do you think that this will transform other people's lives?
Yeah.
Give me an example. Tell me one person you helped and how it transformed.
Okay, so there's a guy back home. He had a terrible divorce, essentially lost his daughter. He's working a 9-to-5 job, hates his life, hate everything about it, almost got to the point where he was just gonna quit.
Yeah.
Instead, I opened up and shared this is what it felt like to actually lose a daughter, to not have her there.
Yeah.
He started his own business June of last year. He's now looking to quit his full-time job. He's bringing in 6 figures on his business.
Wow.
And that came through him accepting the failure, realizing that he can be stronger for it, and moving into it. And I mean, just that one life was changed. He's closer to his daughter now because of it. He's a dad who pays his child support. He's paying his support. He's doing well. He's getting stronger. And he keeps sharing this message now with others that are going through that same thing of, no, yeah, it's supposed to suck. It's going to suck. But if you push through it, it's going to be really awesome. Just, it will. So.
Great. So you help people to achieve and push through their own blind spots and see more. Is that right?
Yeah.
So this is the brand circle. This is something that I take people through. And in the center is your purpose. You can also talk about it as your why. You heal people's pain. How does that feel when you say that out loud?
Feels really good.
Let me hear it.
I heal people's pain.
How does that sit with you?
It's good. It's a little bit teary, but it's good.
I see the emotion.
Yeah.
Why? Where's the emotion?
It's good to know that after going through so much pain,
Yeah.
that you can take that off of people it's an amazing feeling.
I'm with you right now. I got that. Yeah. And you want to help other people in their transparency, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's going to give them more availability and courage to be able to be seen.
I think more so it's going to help others see. I think it's more about helping other people see that journey, to feel like they're doing the same thing. We're all doing that same thing. That transparency isn't for them, it's for all the people around them.
Great. And your fear, getting through fear, is helping others to build new things,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And that's what innovates you. That's the innovation. That's the difference. And finally, achieving more. People see through their own blind spots and they see what's possible. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, here's the way that this works. If people are achieving and seeing through blind spots by what you're doing, you're helping them build fear, and they are doing that through transparency, then you are accomplishing your ultimate joy. And your ultimate joy is helping people's pain, helping to heal their pain. So if you were able to do these 3 things, you'd be accomplishing your purpose.
Yeah, looks right to me.
You don't have any corrections or anything?
No, no. Well, it looks right because that's what I'm doing.
I
It's
know.
working.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Okay, great.
So now with this, what you're seeing here,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you the same question. You're 2 years ahead, and you're looking back at yourself.
Yeah.
What did you accomplish?
My hope is that I am not doing this anymore in 2 years. My hope is that in 2 years, there's so many people out there sharing their stories openly of their fears and their trials that I'm not there anymore. I'm not needed. I don't need to do that. That they're doing it on their own. And that's become the norm, that people are open and transparent about their trials and their hardships.
Great. How are you going to measure that?
When I can close down the podcast.
Awesome. Cheers, man. Thank you. So he's not going to stop, and he knows his joy. He knows what it's going to take to find that, and he knows the message that he wants to get out. That's the exercise. You can do this yourself. It's better with others. That's not a "that's what she said" joke. This is something that we all struggle with. I know that. I've been working with thousands of people and doing this kind of work and seeing how this can really come through in your message. And by actually focusing on your purpose and your joy, It's going to help you do that. I would love to offer, I have a worksheet that I'll send you. If you want to use the worksheet, I can give that to you. If you email me at, just email my email address, and it's not a random email address, Bryan, B-R-Y-A-N, at Bryan Kramer, Kramer with a K, just like Seinfeld, .com, and I'd be happy to email that back to you. So with that said, thank you so much for allowing me to be intimate with you and share something today that was near and dear to my heart. And I hope that you use this model to help build and create more joy in your life. Cheers.